Hello, everyone. My name is Alexis Crook. I am a customer success manager here at ProSymmetry. In this video, I am going to be going through some of the general settings, specifically the global tab. So here I have my Tempus homepage pulled up. I'm next going to go into admin settings and general settings. As you can see up here, there are different tabs that you can play around with that have different, general settings. Today, I'm just going to be covering this global tab. So first off, we have our date format. So in here, you can select, the format of your dates, whichever one you prefer. Cost currency, there's some options within here, and the number format. The next thing is the available project allocation tab. So let me duplicate my screen here. And I'm going to go into a project. Actually, let me go back a little bit. So I'll go into my project management tab and I will select any project. So this is showing, you can select either resource, task, or both. And where you would see that within this project screen is right here. So we have our resource and our task. So starting with task, this is showing all of the tasks that we have assigned to this project. And when you click into one of these tasks, there you see all of your resources. And vice versa, the resource tab is showing first all of our resources. And if you click into a resource, you see the tasks that they are assigned to. So the way that we currently have it configured is both of these are available. You can select either one. If you have a preference, if you're only working out of this resource tab, you can change this here to select resource, save that. And now let's refresh this screen. It's showing now just that resource tab. So it's the same thing. You can still see the tasks that these resources are on. You just now don't have the ability to select that tab task. So I will move that back to both. Next, let's go to default assignment type. So here we have our planned, our actual, and our both. So whenever you first come into this project screen, you can see here we have our planned, actual, planned, and actual, planned, actual remaining. These three are options for which screen do you want to see first when you come into this project page. So right now, planned is selected. So anytime you come into a new project, the first grid that's going to pull up is your planned grid. You can change that to actual or both, planned and actual. So I will show that here. Let's do actual. And then let's refresh this screen. And now you can see that actual is that first tab that is going to be pulled up. Next, we have available assignment type. So this is different in the sense that, do you want your planned, your actuals, and your both to even be available? So this one differs because it is which one do you want to see first? And this one is which ones are actually available. So let's say that we only want to see our actuals. I guess this isn't really likely, but you say you never use planned and you don't want to see both, obviously. You only want to see your actuals. If I save that, you can now see that I don't even have the option anymore to toggle between planned, actuals, and both. Actual is my only option here. I'm going to move those back to both. The last thing that I'm going to show, or for this little section, is available data set. So we've got our allocation, our demand, and both. So as you can see here, right now, only allocation is selected. However, if I select both and refresh the screen, you can see now that I have the option to toggle between the two. So it really depends on if you're using both of these, you can have them both available. If you're only using one, you can come in here and select which one you want to appear there. The next thing that we have is calculate cost from. So when you click into here, resource default rate is out of the box. So let me go into a resource. We'll go into myself and into my attributes. You can see here that I can assign myself or any resource a default rate. So that is going to be out of the box within this calculate cost from. These three options are defined resource attributes that you can create. So if you go into attribute management and create these, you can assign these different rates. And then you can come in here and say which one you want your cost to be calculated from. And cost is going to be, let's again go into a project, and cost is here. So your cost is going to be whatever that, this rate is times the number of hours. That's how this cost is going to be defined. Next, we have allow API to modify all data sets. So when enabled, the API can modify data sets that are disabled within Tempus. Next, we've got our copy allocation / demand data set. So you can see this right here within a project. So if you have both of these available and you want to, copy this data set, copy allocation to demand, you can select this little button here. You can also choose to turn this off. I'll refresh the screen. And now that button is just no longer available. Next, we have allow negative allocations. This allows you to enter negative allocation on a few different screens. So the single project allocation screen and the bulk project allocation screens. So if you ever plan in negatives, you can turn this on. If you don't, you can toggle that to off. Mode of entry, day, week, month, quarter, project. You can see that here, day, week, month, quarter, project. If you never really work in, let's just say day, project, and quarter, you can choose to turn those off. You can save that. And now you see week and month are my only options. I am going to turn those back on for now. Project management view. So if I go back to this screen, I have my Kanban, my grid, and my Gantt view. If you play around with these, if you only ever use one of the three or two of the three, you can just toggle those off and on. So let's do that and click back into project management. Now you can see that grid is my only available view of all of my projects. Next, we have enforce build team. So if you use build team, some organizations do, some organizations don't. You have the option here to toggle off and on between if you want to enforce it or not. Exclude project proposals. So if any of your projects are selected yes to is proposal, this will remove them from allocation grids. So the cross project allocation screen, resource replace, net availability grid, stuff like that. Your proposed projects will not appear on those screens. Exclude unapproved assignments. So if you have unapproved assignments, they will show up as read only within both of the bulk project allocation screens. And they will be excluded completely from the cross project allocation screen, the resource replace screen, and the net availability grid. The next option we have here is if you have any empty allocation or demand, do you want it to show up as a little dash or do you want it to show up as a 0? This is just a personal preference. Down here we have user session. So a session will expire after this set amount of minutes. You can change that here if you would like. Locking timeout. When projects are checked out, how long until it's going to basically time out and check itself back in? And when will you receive that warning? So 10 minutes before that 60-minute check back in, you will receive a warning. Minimal password length and maximum login attempts. So for this password length, again, you can choose whatever works best for your organization and maximum login attempts. So You can play around with that number if you have a user trying to log in this case, more than 8 times with the wrong password, it will lock them out. And then as an admin, you do have the access to unlock their account and or reset their password or whatever works, but you can, change this number here. These 3 options here, you have the ability to change the name of these features within Tempus. So allocation, if your organization has a different word for allocation or demand, you can change that here, as well as a task. And then lastly, we have project autosave. So when a user checks out a project, the project will automatically save within this many of minutes. So in this case, this is 20. So that was everything for our general settings global tab. I do also want to point out that, I can point this out quickly, within our help center, if you go into administrative settings and the option here, global tab, all of these are defined within here. So everything that I just went over, you'll see screenshots and a little bit more of an explanation on each of them if you are interested. Thank you, everyone, and have a good one.